I'm in my apartment at home, which is in fact sparse, yes. It is sparse. Well, it is not Snapple. It is honest tea that is just a tad sweet, 60 calories. And it's not Chinese food, it's Vietnamese food from last night. They didn't eat it all last night. Full of GMOs. I don't think GMOs are particularly bad. I mean, as long as they're not modified in order to have ill effects, I don't see the problem. It may turn out someday that there's a problem, but nobody has any evidence that there's a problem. So, yeah. All right, I just woke up. I just woke up and I was thinking, why not stream some more? Because why not? And the thing that it occurred to me to do is yesterday, you know, I did this text file handler stuff that's a little bit of a cleaner abstraction around processing text files. It does a little more of the work standardly. And it seemed to me, hey, why don't I go back and start using this for the older text files, because there are several in the game, and it'll just like make their loops tighter and everything will be good. So I'm going to do that. What are the other text files? Well, there's stuff like, let's look at the data files. So there's key map files. So like, hey, here's a key map that binds a key to a thing, right? There's variables files. So there's, you know, these sort of set the values of various things. There's what's it called? User IDs file. This is a thing for the editor that controls, you know, it keeps your user ID unique for your machine so that you can edit stuff without colliding with anybody else. There's probably some other files. I feel like there's at least one other one. Oh, the level set files. So, you know, this, which I guess I'll have to go and tweak the version numbers when we get to those. Anyway, there's a number of text files being processed so far, and if I can just tighten up all those loops, that'll be good. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know this VARS mode that Emacs goes into. I didn't even know that was a thing. So apparently somebody else has a format called .variables, because it ain't. I didn't do this. I didn't do this. Okay. Let's go to the variables. And if I break this, the game will fail to run. So, yeah. Okay. Reload variables. Calls reload variables really, which is this one. And we're just doing this. You know, actually, we're not really, yeah, we'll clean it up. It's not going to save us that much in this case, proportionally, because most of this code is actually processing the thing, but we'll do it just to do it. So, handler, text file, handler, handler.do version number equals false, and then how did we said start file. So we do that. That's fine. That's fine. Let me see. What true? We do this. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. So that gets rid of basically all the boilerplate. So we're just looping and doing this. Which is better. Because we don't have to worry about weird corner cases and stuff. Let's see if that actually worked. Well, I screwed, oh, because I'm using line number. I need to fix those error messages at some point. Got a lot of error messages. We'll just say log agent variables, just so that we don't duplicate the string. And we'll just call it agent. So what did undeclared identifier agent, what are you talking about? Oh, that's a totally different procedure. All right. Attempt to use variable from an outer stack frame, expect and eat, all right. More line number. All right. So that's good. Let's see if we run. Let's see if our variables are the right values. What's something that we can hot load? Like, well, it's something that's like, okay, console visuals. So dopen dt, if I change it to 117, it hot loaded. Hey look, the console opens and closes way faster. If I change it to 0.075, oh, it's way slow. Okay. So I'm pretty much convinced that that's working. Like, to correctly set that variable, it had to parse this, and then it had to parse this line. So that's good. Okay. Let's go to, I don't know why this is modified. Oh, because I was copying stuff out of it. Let's go to the ID ranges file, so that's easy. Is it user IDs? Yeah. Okay. Load user ID file. Oops. Wait. This is called capital file name. All right. All right. So we'll take that out. Take that out. Okay, so we don't have to eat spaces. Okay, what are we doing? We're breaking. Well, let's do this in 2 steps. So first, we've switched the looping to use the handler. So let's make sure that works. So starting editor is user ID 5. Down there at the bottom, that means that it all worked, because it means it parsed this, it found my MAC address, which is one of these, and it mapped it to 5. Right, so if I go into the editor and I copy this and paste it, it's number 5, 1, which means it's under user ID 5. That's great. So now we can do some of this stuff. So the ID line, we say ID text, comma, RHS, break by spaces ID line, right? And that gets rid of a lot of lines of code right there. Empty user error in line whatever, empty user ID, and we can actually report the line number and get rid of this improve me. Well, let's say of file whatever. Whoops, I already was, well. Handler line number, handler full path, ID text. Right. Maybe we'll do that. Let's just call this username instead of RHS. Username. Let's try that. Starting editor is user ID 5. Still works. So let's clean this up. We don't need to eat spaces on the MAC line anymore. Left. Wait, what? The MAC line has just a bunch of MAC addresses that are space separated. Oh, right. Okay. So I'm looping and I'm saying first MAC line equals break by spaces MAC line, right? That seems simpler. User ID 5. Hopefully I didn't break anything. Let's just print. That should spew a bunch of stuff. Yep. So it looks like we're getting them all successfully. So, you know, this is nice. Like, this is a pretty reasonable way to read these simple text files. You don't need giant JSON or XML files. You don't need regular expressions to do these things. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me rebuild, make sure I didn't mess something up, deleting the lines. Any questions about what's happening so far while I try to remember what is the next file that we're going to do? I should have noticed how many lines of code we were at the start so that we could see it going down. 56032 was down there, 56036. My scroll back doesn't go super far. 56063, so that's, we've saved at least 30 lines of code. Oh, 49. Who knows? Like, at this point in the scroll back, we had already done the first one, so. Maybe somebody can look at the start of the video later. It's not that I don't like Git for various reasons. It's that Git is not appropriate for game development. And all the large file extensions are basically hacks that have severe drawbacks. So I'm not interested in them. Parser combinator, oh God. That whole parser combinator thing, I don't see the point. It's overcomplicated and crazy to do a simple thing. If you're gonna make parsing hard, you might as well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. All right, what were some of the other files? We did animation names, animation graph yesterday. We did user IDs just now. Level set we can do in a minute. Key map. Yeah, so we got to do key map and then level set. Well, no, if key map stops working, because all sorts of things will stop working. Okay. So we're going to do agent is key map and short name, file name, agent. Boom, 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 boom. And then we're going to replace key map with agent and handler. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. We'll leave again the loop body like we did before. And I got to look for anyone who uses the line number, which is here. And we'll say the file. So maybe that'll work. Oh, we don't return false from here. Yep. Key map. That's the problem with stopping to use hard-coded strings. Maybe I should just make a file scope variable. All right. Well, we're down to 2.2 from 3 something, so it's already 11 lines of code or whatever. Oh, but we didn't. Oh, because the version number is different. I believe we don't do version numbers. Let's check that. Should I put a version number on? Yeah. Why did you have to recompile? Unable to load file, editor local. Oh, the local key maps also need this. I don't have local key maps. Oh. Right, okay, here's the thing that we don't want to generate errors for files that are optional. That's something that our text file handler doesn't do yet. So let's go here. We're going to lose some of our lines of code gain. So load. So we have this optional here, right? Let's just do that. Optional is false. I'm always paranoid. I think the precedence is fine, that I can just say not and not. Oh wait, I don't want to do that anyway. So if no success, if not optional, there we go. I don't think we added any lines of code. We have slightly more code. All right, so we didn't get errors for those things, but I can go to my key map and make sure that something, so I can advance levels by hitting this. Yeah, so that works. Well, let's not commit it yet. Oh, let's commit it, why not? So we're still not done though, because we want to then we basically want to do a break by spaces here. So we're keeping this thing, the left-hand side is called line. Yeah. We'll call it key name. Yeah. So we're going to say key name RHS break by spaces of line. Okay, get rid of all that stuff. Oh, wait. It's all fine. Yep. So how many lines are we down to now? 018. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. And then, you know, this find key map proc is... No? Oh, command string. So that gets parsed somewhere else. All right. So that's all good. So let's commit that. So now the last one, what was it? The level set files, which already have a version number in a different format. So we're going to change that to be consistent. Let's try putting the brackets. Overworlds. Drafts. Heroes. All right, that's everything. So now we're going to do the same thing here that we did elsewhere. So what did we do elsewhere? Whoops. Yeah. We did this kind of stuff. Set that name, set that full path. Maybe it's called short name, I don't remember. Probably called short name and not name. We'll see when we try to compile. Well, that's basically it. It's pretty straightforward. Let's hope that worked. Yep. If that didn't work, all these levels wouldn't be here. So, great. How many lines are we down to? 56,000 even. That's magical. I mean, maybe I introduced a bug into one of those data files, but I'll discover it later if that happens. Well, that was the thing that I wanted to do for this stream, and now I don't even know what to do anymore. Anyone have opinions on what I should do? It's still 8:40 in the morning. It's not even real working day time. As an approach to programming, data orientation makes a lot of sense to me. Do you have any book recommendations along those lines? Not really. I wish I did. If you've seen Mike Acton's talks, those are good, but I think they also presume a certain amount of experience. Like if you're getting into programming, they may not make enough sense. Fix the if shadow bug you found last night. Oh, well, so the thing about that is that's a compiler bug. And right now this is a game engine programming stream. Maybe if I do a compiler bug stream later today, I'll fix that. But for the purposes of putting this on YouTube later, I want to keep the topic of each stream coherent. So this is just about game engine programming topics right now. It's not just changing the name of the stream, it's having to go in and break it into different pieces. It's annoying. But I definitely want to fix that soon, probably today. All right. Well, I don't know. New editor features. Well, kind of don't really have any features that I want right now. The things that I have to do on the actual game are not editor related. I could do more animation stuff in a continuation of what we were doing, but wow, someone's running some, can't be a weed eater because I'm on the 11th floor somewhere. Some construction site thing. I don't know, maybe I should just stop the stream since this is done and come back later when I know what I want to do. Right? I mean, this was a very just like get an idea, go do it, and it's done. And now what? If I feel too motivated and productive, I can always start playing with Vulkan. That is true. Yeah. All right. You know. I seriously have no ideas for engine stuff, right? There's compiler stuff. There's witness stuff I might do today. But engine stuff, I don't know. Let me put this global to the file. That's that's a really sophisticated. Oh, that wasn't the one where I. Oh. Whoops. All right. Which one? Yeah, I have agent : equals variables all over the place, so let's do that. Let's do that. All right. Great. Somehow we added 3 lines there, probably blank lines. Does the engine do cool particles? I mean, it does particles. They're not super cool. But to do cool particles, you really want to be trying to achieve something specific. And we're not at the point where we're doing specific effects yet. That would be a good stream, though. How much of the engine was done before you started streaming its development? A fair amount. I mean, this is not like Handmade Hero where it's a project to stream 100% of things. It's just whenever I have a relatively coherent topic, then I will stream that. Have I generalized the animation system to not just be warrior? Yes. I mean, right now it'll do any human character. It's just that we don't have extra animations for the other characters besides warrior yet. Work on the GUI for the animator, someone said. That's a little bit too big of a topic. So before we do the GUI, if we ever do a GUI, like we want to make sure that the actual state machine that I'm building is the right thing, you know? So right now we've got this kind of a thing, and we'll just have the animator like start using this. I mean, probably what I need to do is go back and talk to him and say, okay, I've got a starting point. you know, what are the specific things that we need to do in order to use this effectively in the near term? And he'll just start coming up with feature requests, and I'll start putting them in. And after a while of that, then we'll know a basic set of features that this thing needs to support. And then, you know, from there we might think about a GUI if we want to do one. I'm not even sure that that's necessary for this game, because, you know, we're not going to have tons of different animation state systems. There's going to be like a few. So, yeah. Yeah. How to avoid virtual functions in general using C++. Don't use virtual functions. That doesn't seem that hard. Mixing effects on audio. Yeah, if I were to do working on the mixer, I mean, I don't want to do that right now because it's way a different topic from what I've been working on. If I were to do that, I probably would be like optimizing the mixer or something, or just generally doing a cleanup, because that would be useful. I'd probably want inline assembly or intrinsics to do that, which we don't have yet. What do I think about shipping source code with the game? Are you afraid code from this stream may be used without your consent? No, I mean, the code from this stream, good luck trying to use that from like screen grabs. Are you kidding me? Well, especially right now when nobody has a compiler to compile it. Like later, yeah, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be giving out the source code anyway, so it's, yeah. Why would someone go through all that work when they're going to get working source code in the end? Am I going to make an editor? I complain about Emacs a lot. Well, I'm hoping that somebody else's newer editor will be good for me. If that doesn't happen, I'll make an editor eventually. I've just got, you know, too many projects. The first thing I'm going to make before an editor is a slideshow program. Maybe I'll stream starting to make a slideshow program. Not today, but maybe after Saturday's demo. Because I need to go give a presentation to the rest of the company. Having my own slideshow program would be good for that. Yeah, like PowerPoint, but not sucky. Yeah, it's because PowerPoint is awful, basically, and the kind of presentation program that I want doesn't really work the way PowerPoint does in many dimensions. So, yeah. If you repin the Emacs icon, you won't have the annoyance of the redundant icon. If I pin this one, no, now there's two. Does that mean I unpin this? I mean, these are two different things, I think. So like, if I exit Emacs now, saying goodbye to all my files, and then I run this, see, now I get this annoying, crappy window that I don't want, right? So I don't actually want this pinned. I want this pinned, but then this comes up. Yeah, it's stupid. It's a combination of Emacs and Windows both being dumb. Is Keynote not good? Isn't that an Apple thing? I don't like Apple software, frankly. Someone says layout is a really, really deep can of worms. No, I don't agree. I don't think layout is very hard at all. I think everybody does it very badly. In the same way that people have bad ideas about GUIs that they've inherited over time. They have bad ideas about layout. Like, trying to make slides in PowerPoint these days is so annoying because I can't control how anything looks because the auto resizing is everywhere, right? And changing the size of your text all the time. And then if you turn that off, then it's unusable in another direction where they didn't work that hard on making it work well with auto resize turned off. So all sorts of things are gimpy. So, but I also, you know, if I do a slide presentation, I don't want that much text. So focusing on layout problems is not even really relevant, frankly. Particularly relevant. It is turning into totally off-topic questions. When I go to work in a coffee shop, what do you take with you? What laptop peripherals? I just take my laptop and the Logitech G900 mouse, and that's basically it. The laptop is a Razer Blade 14-inch, which you know, has problems, but all laptops these days are crappy in one way or another. So the Razer is like it's not even the least crappy. It's the least crappy within the envelope of high-end specs that I want to use. As of 6 months ago, I don't know. Lately, maybe something better came out. Should you go with OpenGL or DirectX 11 to learn graphics programming? I would say the answer is DirectX 9 if you want to learn, because that'll still run everywhere, and you don't have to do a crazy amount of setup code, and it's relevant to other DirectXs and stuff. So start with DirectX 9. It has good debugging. You can get stuff on the screen. And then, once you know how all that works, you can, of course, move to another graphics API if you want. Yeah, you have to recharge the G900 a lot. It's true. What the advantages of GPUs are. The advantages, so CPUs are just general purpose computing devices, and GPUs are not. And that's why GPUs are faster at certain workloads. That's all. You know, CPUs are meant to run code that branches a lot and that has a lot of, you know, integer logic, and that relatively infrequently has, you know, data parallel operations to do. And GPUs are the opposite. Well, for some definition of opposite, they're made for programs that branch very rarely, do few integer operations, do a lot of floating point operations, and almost always have tons of stuff to do in parallel, right? So as long as your workload fits that second description, then GPUs are going to be a lot faster. If your workload fits the first description, then CPUs are going to be faster, you know, per transistor. So that's all. It's just, it's hardware specializing to different use cases is what's going on there. Is LaTeX too much of a hassle just for slide? I just want a different thing. I don't want LaTeX. I don't want, yeah, we will talk about it later. Someone's asking, does Vulcan look viable as an easy to get into alternative? No, it is not easy to get into. No. All right, this stream is kind of going nowhere, so I'm gonna take a break. It was good while we were getting work done. I'm gonna take a break and think about what else to do, and maybe we'll do a stream later today on a different topic. See you guys later.